Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's GeneralTarheel, your coach of the Charmanders, bringing you the APA Season 4 Week 5 battle versus Coach Chimpact and the Philadelphia Scythers. Now, coming into Week 5, of course, we did face Elite 4 Dan last week. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you do, because in 3, 2, 1, we did in fact win 4-0. It was a very good match. Archon really just carried us over there, just being the strong Pokemon that it is. Hoping that it continuously becomes a monster every week, just like potentially this week versus Chimpact, and for the weeks to come. But I also want other Pokemon to shine, and I definitely feel like there's a chance for that in this battle versus Chimpact. Chimpact, if you don't know him, I don't know how you don't know me and don't know him, but amazing player, amazing coach, amazing dude, genius first of all, Jeopardy and everything if you don't know that, and then of course GBA Champion and everything like that. So Chimpact's an amazing dude. Make sure to check them out if you haven't. I love watching his Jeopardy stuff with all the other guys and stuff like that. So apart from that, I wasn't too scared of his team. Only a few things actually scared me. Let me actually pull up his roster because I haven't been doing that lately, and I feel like I should do that. So he has kind of like a hail team going on, as you can tell. His main threats are on his hail team, of course, are Snover and Alolan Sandshrew. And then he also has Wall Breaking and Rufflet. Apart from that, he does have his mascot in Chimchar. Well, not mascot for his team, channel mascot at least. Then he has Deerling. He has Bonsly, which is a very solid rock setter. Then he also has Pokemon on his team such as Machop. I'm trying to remember the other ones. He's got Trubbish, and then he has Swaddle and Wynut. So going into this fight, I'm like, okay, he has no switch into Charmander. His best switch into Charmander is like a pretty bulky Bonsly, but I know Bonsly is just probably going to be running sturdy with Berry Juice and not Eviolite. So I have to keep that in mind, and really he just has no switch into Charmander. Like his best way of getting rid of Charmander is just one, continuously threatening it out with like potential Scarf Rufflet or something like that, or just a very offensive Rufflet. Or what am I trying to say here? Or trap it with Wynut and it just be Spit F bulky and then just, Mirror Coat me to death or something of the sort. So going into this, I just know I want a Charmander 1,000,000%, so I just brought Choice Specs Blaze Charmander. Bringing the little cup mascot to put in all the work because he doesn't have a water type at all. I have Fire Blast, Hidden Power Water, Flamethrower, and Overheat. Hidden Power Water basically allows me to two-shot Bonsly. Fire Blast also just destroys his team, first of all, so like I don't even mind clicking that, just period. Overheats just in case I need to get it for sure KO versus one of kind of the neutral mons, even though majority of the time I will be hitting his team super effectively. Charmander just destroys his team, first of all. Like that's just all you really need to know, and that's why I was hoping to put in work because I want Charmander to at least pick up one kill this match because it does have a really nice matchup. Apart from that, another set I was really happy about for this matchup was my Lickitung. My Lickitung, in case of, instead of my normal like Oblivious Wish Protect, we're bringing Eviolite Cloud9 Lickitung with Flamethrower, Knockoff, Rest, and Sleep Talk. This is mixed defensive in order to deal with both Alolan Sandshrew and Snover. This thing absolutely eats anything from his Hail Pokemon, and just clicks Flamethrower. I'm also just capable of clicking Rest and then Sleep Talk, and then either Flamethrower or Knockoff holds my team. Knockoff, I get rid of potential Berry Juice on Bonsly. I get rid of a potential Choice Scarf on Rufflet, Choice Scarf on Machop on Switch-In. Anything of the sort. It is very helpful for Lickitung just to have those moves. And just the Rest Sleep Talk allows me to... Well, first, Wish Protect is not compatible with Cloud9. That's why I wanted to bring it. And those of you who do not know, for Cloud9, even though it doesn't really help me out for Sandshrew as much, it ignores any effects of Hail. So it ignores Sandshrew Slush Rush, even though I'm not bringing... like a speedy Lickitung or anything like that, but it also ignores getting hurt by Hail, and it ignores Blizzard being 100% accurate. So even though I already take 3 Blizzards from a Snover, if it's like Choice Scarf or Focus Sash or Eviolite, anything of the sort, with this Lickitung, it only makes Blizzard 70% accurate, so there's a good chance he's just going to miss Blizzard versus me, and Lickitung just gets off a free knockoff more than likely, or a Flamethrower if I really wanted to go for that. So Lickitung I knew was going to be a great bring this week, and I knew Cloud9 was going to help me versus this Nova at least once, so I was really looking forward to this match for that. Apart from that, the other set I was looking forward to was my Pawniard. I'm trying to bring SD again. I really want Pawniard to do something that's kind of pissing me off. Archin's really just taking the spotlight, but I just want Pawniard to be able to do something, man, because it was my first overall. I want it to just be kind of threatening. So I had Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, Psycho Cut, and Knockoff with the Choppleberry. Now the reasoning behind Choppleberry is purely because of Chimchar. Chimchar gets access to Vacuum Wave, so that's one of his priority ways in order of knocking me out afterwards. Machop does not get access to Mach Punch, so he can't priority kill me like that. So if he was bringing Machop, I would more than likely expect a Scarf Machop, even though it does limit like his fighting and dark uses versus like Slowpoke and then like a tongue and stuff like that. It's still kind of a threat versus my team more than likely. So also, if my Archin isn't Scarf or anything like that, Machop can just click like a very strong fighting move and just knock it out. So excuse me. And I also have Inner Focus on Pawniard. This is so Chinchar just can't continuously fake out the death, even though I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have enough fake outs in order to do it. But just in case he wanted to catch me off guard, I could for sure kill Chimchar, and I still have my Choppleberry just in case, even though I know for a fact I wouldn't live any hit from a Machop in the back or anything of the sort. So, but either way, I felt like Pawniard could be a setup sweeper. Potentially, it probably would have been better just to bring a kind of a wall breaking exit with Life Orb alongside with Stealth Rocks, because Stealth Rocks would have been pretty helpful versus his team since I didn't bring out my Archin. But speaking of Archin, once again, I am bringing Choice Scarf. It's just one of the better sets, like I mentioned before. It's going to get a little redundant bringing it, but I had really good reasoning for bringing it this week. One was because I was really scared of Scarf Machop, like I mentioned, and really scared of Rufflet. Rufflet is a monster. There are no switch-ins to Rufflet. Because of Hustle with Brave Bird, if that thing hits, it just kills. Like, it just picks up a kill. It's ridiculous. So I want to be able to revenge that the best I can, and that is in Choice Scarf Archin, because once again, not that many switch-ins, and if I can pressure Bonsly with both Charmander and Archin, that's going to be very beneficial for my team. Just be able to break through later and stuff like that with one or the other. As well as my Rufflet, which I'll get to in a second, really helps with Bonsly. So just U-turn, Rock Slide, Pluck, Earthquake, all the coverage I need versus this team. Archin also helps versus the Deerling being very annoying, because Deerling with just Grass plus Fighting type coverage really hurts my team. That's the other reason I brought Rufflet for, which I'll get to in a second. But I knew Deerling was going to be a problem versus my team, so I also wanted to bring Archin for that reason. Archin also just helps versus Snover, because Snover's a pain. I outspeed a Choice Scarf Snover, just in case you wanted to bring that. In case my Lickitung had to go down early to something, I didn't have to switch into Snover anymore. So Archin was always just an amazing bring for this team, purely for Choice Scarf. I will hopefully bring another Archin set soon enough, because I want to try out more, but Scarf has just been working out so well for me. Archin being like number 2 in the league for kills, so I hope it just continuously picks up the kills and continuously being a monster. But apart from that, I am bringing dual Scarf along with my Rufflet. I was considering bringing a bulky Rufflet purely for the Deerling, but I felt like Choice Scarf was just going to be a little bit more beneficial for me. That's only because if I'm just bulky and I want to roost up versus everything, if he brings either of his offensive Pokemon in, Alolan Sandshrew or Snover, I'm kind of on the back end, even though I do have Lickitung in the back. Like, I don't want to force that every time. So that's why I'm just kind of bringing Choice Scarf Rowlet. Once again, it helps me with a Rufflet as well, in case I lose Archin pretty early in the match. I don't want to rely on my Pawniard Sucker Punch in case he's like a subset or anything of the sort. So it'd be nice just to have another thing that outspeeds the Rufflet, and that comes in my Rowlet. So it was Brave Bird, Leaf Blade, Hidden Power Fire, and Roost. Hidden Power Fire, of course, just in case I was expecting the Alolan Sandshrew. In case he has Hail Up, Alolan Sandshrew is a safe switch in for him into the Rowlet, because of course it resists the Brave Bird, it resists the Leaf Blade. I also have Long Reach on my Rufflet, or sorry, my Rowlet. I did this a lot during the battle, confusing the two, but I have Long Reach on my Rowlet purely for the Trubbish, because Trubbish could be an Aftermath set, and that'd be a little bit annoying. So I felt like instead of taking extra damage on the recoil with my Brave Bird, I might as well have Long Reach, because I'm not really going to be having too much use of the Overgrow, because I want to click Brave Bird more than anything versus his team. And lastly is the Slowpoke, just a standard bulky Slowpoke, mixed defense, of course, defense and Spadef, Slack Off Scald, Psychic Thunderwave with the Eviolite Regenerator. Nothing special at all. Just wanted to bring it for the Machop, as well as the Bonsly, just being proper switch-ins. Thunderwaves really helped me out versus like the potential Snover switch-in, anything of the sort like that really helped getting speed control versus his team, to ensure I have things like Charmander that can just easily click Fire Blast versus stuff on his team. So that is that for the team build. I really need to make that a little bit shorter. That was 10 minutes. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry about that. But I wanted to go into it a little bit in depth, so there you go. So going into this battle, when I saw the 60 bring in Chimchar, Bonsly, Snover, Alolan Sandshrew, Rufflet, and Deerling, I was really surprised not to see Machop, but I was also really happy. I was kind of expecting all these other potential Pokemon, so nothing was really a surprise to me. But I wanted to go ahead and lead off with my Archon. I felt like it just really did the best versus his team. His potential Rocker and Bonsly, I can easily just go for a U-turn, switch out into my Slowpoke and break it sturdy, but he does have to lead Chimchar, and he goes for the Fake Out turn 1. I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm still just clicking EQ. This is just in case he just wanted to make a switch into the Bonsly, of course. I'm just going for a lot of damage, can go to get rid of its Berry Juice and stuff like that, but he does show to be Focus Sash. I'm like, if he's Focus Sash counter, I'm going to be sad. Sure enough, he's Focus Sash counter. So that's a great play on Chimpact's side already for just turn 1 into the battle. I was like, that's Archon gone already. That sucks so much balls. But luckily with Chimchar, it only has a 1 HP. I really doubt it's a slack offset. So I'm just going to Charmander, I'm clicking Fire Blast. He's probably just going to sack it because this thing goes down to a turn of Hail anyways. Otherwise, he's got to take something to take a lot of potential Fire Blast damage. He also didn't want to risk me just being free setup with Charmander. That would be really annoying for him. But he goes into Bonsly here. I'm just going to go right into my Slowpoke. I have no reason not to. He does opt to go for the Toxic, but it's purely fine. He doesn't have Chimchar, he doesn't have a Chop. Slowpoke's not that important for my team anymore, to be completely honest, because my Lickitung can't handle Bonsly. Since I'm Rest, the Toxic's not going to bother me. Lickitung just knocks off the Bonsly. We don't have to worry about it healing with Berry Juice and stuff like that. So Slowpoke is a very expendable member of my team. Right here, I was really expecting the switch into Snover, so I wanted to make the double into Charmander, but once again, it was a good play on Chimpact's part. He knew that I wasn't going to click Scald versus a team with a Snover in the back, which when it kind of threatens my team pretty well. So, as well as Deerling. So he knew I could have potentially made the double in the Charmander, so going into Rufflet was a pretty good play. It would have been scary if I went for Scald or Thunder Wave on my part for the Rufflet switch in, but he just knew I wasn't going to make that, so that was good on his part. He goes for the Aerial Ace versus Slowpoke. I'm just going to stay in, check if he's Scarf or anything like that. He does go for Brave Birds, confirming that he's not a choiced item, and the Brave Bird will unfortunately knock out Slowpoke, but I'm totally fine with this. He's going to be taking all that recoil damage, and now I freely can go into my Rufflet here. I know there's a good chance he's just going to go into his Bonsly, but once again, I just want to break that sturdy, just so it makes it a little bit easy on me later, and anything of the sort. So I'm just going for Brave Bird. It's my overall safest play, best play, whatever you want to say, because Rufflet is a threat. Sorry, yeah, Rufflet is a threat versus my team. I want to make sure if I can knock it out, I'm going to knock it out, because otherwise that thing is just going to destroy me. Right here, I'm going to go into Pawniard and a potential Rock Slide switch in, just because I really don't want to have Lickitung out too much right now, because that could just allow Rufflet right back in case knockoff doesn't really help me, in case he gets like potential Z move. But he goes for the Stomping Tantrum. That's good prep and a good prediction on his part once again. It's like it kind of felt like it was on the back end a little bit. But I'm just going to go for the knockoff. He switches in the Deerling, shows the Eviolite. I'm like, okay, I'm not staying in versus this Deerling. I'm just going right to my Rufflet. It's my designated switch in. I really don't want this Deerling to pull any shenanigans versus me. And he goes for the Thunder Wave. I completely looked over this in my prep. I'm like, how the hell does Bambi get Thunder Wave? How is this thing just going to paralyze me, man? I didn't know Deerling had freaking Lightning Jutsu on its side. It was just going to pull these shenanigans on me. And he tries to go for the Paraflinch with Headbutt. I was scared out of my mind. But I went for Hidden Fire in case of the Alolan Sandshrew switch in, because if he was SD, it was kind of scary versus my team at this point. Anything of the sort. But I knew Hidden Fire was still going to take out the Deerling. I still went for it. Luckily, we didn't get Paraflinch. I would have been a little bit pissed if that happened, to be honest, because I didn't know Deerling got Thunder Wave. But it was still smart on his part. I was expecting a more offensive Deerling instead of shenanigans Deerling. But either way, I'm going to go into my Lickitung on the Snover with the Cloud9, and he misses with the Blizzard. And I don't know why the Obama Snover is female, but I guess anything can happen nowadays. So he will of course switch out from Snover versus Lickitung, knowing I probably had the fire coverage since I am a designated switch in. I go for the knockoff. This does confirm Rufflet is a Z move. Of course, assuming whether he's going to bust the Z move or just go for a Brave Bird or anything of the sort, I'm just going straight into my Rowlet and I'm just going to sack it off. He makes the correct prediction, and knowing that I'm going to sack my Rufflet, sack my Rowlet, and just go for the aerial ace, so he doesn't take any unnecessary recoil. There is hail damage, but that is it for him. I'm going to go right in the Pawniard because my only play is Sucker Punch. Like, I need to take things off the board. My only play is Sucker Punch because it's just very scary versus my team. And luckily he does stay in. I do knock it out with Sucker, and Rufflet is done. It is out of the way. I don't need to worry about those shenanigans anymore. So right here, I'm just going to switch out of my Lickitung, i.e. any hit this thing wants to go for. Since this thing doesn't have skill link or anything, it really comes down to how many hits he gets with his Icicle Spear. But even if he does get 5, I take 5 and 4, I believe, with this bulky Lickitung. He goes for EQ here, does a decent amount of damage. Hail does end, so he loses his Slush Rush, but I'm perfectly fine with this. I know he's probably going into Bonsly, but I'm still just clicking Flamethrower. I really have no reason not to, like, overpredict the Bonsly coming in here, because I just click Knock Off the following turn. I rest Sleep Talk versus the rest of this team. This Lickitung literally just walls out his team. Once Chinchar was a confirmed sack, once Rufflet wasn't a threat anymore, I basically had this game, like, underway, as well as a little bit of Deerling. But, like, once I got rid of those and he didn't have the Machop since the beginning, Lickitung literally just walled the rest of his team. So he goes for the Toxic and everything, and I go for the knockoff. Beforehand, I got rid of his Berry Juice. So the Toxic happens here, and right now I'm just going to be trying and resting. He does go for the Rock Slide this turn, and he gets the flinch, and I'm scared. I'm like, oh my god, if I can't get this rest off next turn, I believe I actually lose to Sandshrew. But he goes for Stomping Tantrum here. I don't know if that was a misclick or something. His best play was just going for the Rock Slide flinch again, or like a high roll. I really have no clue why he went for Stomping Tantrum, to be completely honest. You'll have to check his point of view for that, because I had no reason to switch out and risk my Pawniard or anything like that. The only way my Lickitung could get a heal up versus his team was against this Bonsly, so that's why I had to stay in. But luckily, we get the rest off because of that. And he goes for the Rock Slide, he gets the flinch again, but it's like, it's okay, I'm healthy now. As long as I can just get something off, that's perfectly fine. So I finally am able to click Sleep Talk here. I go for Sleep Talk, and then I get Rest. So I'm like, okay, it's going to be like that. I mean, it's the stuff you have to go with when you run Rest Sleep Talk. But it's like, it's okay, I'm just going to click Rest right here, whether he wants to stay in or whether he wants to switch out. I'm clicking Rest right here, getting back up to full, and then I'm in a safe position to weather my knockoff. I believe Flamethrower even killed Bonsly from the health that was at that point still. Knockoff / Flamethrower really just picks up something versus his team. If I can get Flamethrower, it'd be best. So I go for the rest on the Snover switch in. That was pretty clever on his part. I was like, okay, I just need to make sure I can, not really make sure of anything, just try and take care of his team. He goes for Energy Ball, that actually does a good amount of damage. I was kind of scared about it, not gonna lie. But I go for the Sleep Talk here, I get the knockoff. And just get to check this Snover in case it had anything suspicious, but he only had Focus Sash. And he tries to go for the Blizzard this time around, and of course helped me out here because just was able to dodge it once again with the Cloud9. I go for the Flamethrower here, and Snover is knocked out. Really, the Blizzard misses I don't really think came into play, because like he had to get maximum rolls every time the 3-hit kill me with Blizzard from full. Even though Energy Ball did a lot there by the looks of it, I still should have ate the hits unless he was modest, and I was calcing Timid beforehand in prep. I don't remember. That'd be the only exception to where it could potentially make a slight difference, but apart from that, Lickitung literally is just walling out the rest of his team now. Ulul and Sandshrew can't really pull any shenanigans necessarily. I just had the rest up versus the Bonsly again. And I'm going to go for Sleep Talk. He opts to make the switch into Sandshrew again. I'm assuming he's potential Swords Dance right here. And he just needs to get it while I get a Rest Sleep Talk or something of the sort. And as I go for Sleep Talk, I do get Rest again. So Sandshrew is out versus my Lickitung here, but he just goes for the knockoff. So I'm assuming he didn't have ST. Might have been like Icicle Spirit, Earthquake knockoff, and then Rapid Spin for my hazards or something of the sort. But I will just go the Rest Sleep Talk again, and this time I get Flamethrower and will knock out the Ulul and Sandshrew. And then next turn I will freely go for the knockoff versus the Bonsly, and Lickitung will just be able to clean up versus the rest of the team. So in prep, Lickitung did work out very, very perfectly. I was happy that I was able just to wall out the rest of his team, because I knew, like, Rufflet was just going to be a wall breaker, and it was just going to weaken itself down. I was able to revenge it, and that's one less thing I had to worry about with Lickitung. Deerling, I knew I hopefully would have been able to be able to grab between Archon, Poniard, and Rowlet. Unfortunately, Archon or whatever went pretty early, but as early as I could get, just about. But I was still able to pick up the Deerling, and then from then on, Lickitung was just safe, able to rest, sleep talk. Really came down to rock slide flinches, but I got through that, broke through it. Cloud9 Blizzard shenanigans, was able just to take up Otter's team. By the way, I didn't mention this at the beginning of the battle, but I may or may not have done this battle intoxicated. Yeah, I need to do that again. But I may or may not have done it, so I can't confirm whether or not I did. But great game to Chimpact. Make sure to check him out, of course. He deserves all the love you can give him. The dude is a genius in the Pokemon community. I love watching his stuff. Once again, glad to have him in the league. It was an honor battling him. I'm really hyped that I was able to. And picking up 3-0 win feels really good, man. So now we are sitting at 3-2 with a +4 differential, I believe. So we're picking up from it. I would have liked to see the 4-1, but you know, shenanigans happen. So 3-2 +4, really hyped about it. Hopefully we can continue the win streak, man. I'm looking forward to it. Next week, I believe we take on the Seattle Drizzers, coached by DeathlyiAm. My boy Tyler, been playing a lot of Fortnite with them lately, so looking forward to that. But that'll be it from me this week, guys. Make sure to sub, like, share, deuces.